Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well today. What time is it anyways, man? 10 o'clock, so yeah, it's still morning. I beat you. I got this giant pile of laundry behind me in the basket. Got to get that upstairs and folded. And I'll probably not go bedding today, so that'll be a fun one. Crank the gain on this guy. There we go. All right, so drunk dreams. Been seeing a lot of information, a lot of tweets, a lot of questions about these things. So we're talking about drunk dreams today. And before I get too far into my own, there's so much stuff on the internet about this stuff. And I'm glad there is, if I'm 100% honest, because when I got sober 25 years ago, the internet was still pretty much, well, as the internet exists today. It was very much in its infancy, so a lot of this information wasn't necessarily readily available as it is today. You know, type something in your Google on your iPhone and boom, away you go. So I know that some of these articles, you know, clinical studies, I don't know how clinical these clinical studies are. I mean, I don't take a lot of this stuff too seriously. I don't want to get into the whole internet research thing. Having said that, there are certainly reliable sources that might, you know, take a little bit of digging to find. All that noted, I believe, at least, you know, referencing one article that I was able to read, it's a common phenomenon. It really is. Drunk dreams, dreams where you're using or you have used or you're, you know, stumbling upon this opportunity to use, what have you. You use, you drink, you get stoned, whatever the case is in your dream. And then you wake up, you know, flushed with regret and fear. So happy to find out that it's all just been a dream. You know, it's a common thread, and in a lot of these cases, it's very similar. Now, one of the things that I did come across was that one of the doctors running these studies, and his credentials are listed in this article specifically, suggests that many of the cases he's encountered have attended self-help groups of one kind or another. And I don't know if this is the evidence specifically that he's using to come to this conclusion or not, but he comes to the conclusion that many of these cases where people are experiencing these drunk dreams could be related to people with more severe cases, if you will, of addiction or addiction history. I don't know how much I agree with that. Drunk dreams plagued me and still do. I'll tell you that. I'm 25 years in, you know, just celebrated my 25th in January, and I still get them. I still have them. More on that in a bit. But from my own perspective, just take this for whatever it's worth. I came into Alcoholics Anonymous about a year out from having given up cannabis specifically. I used cannabis. I used cocaine quite a bit. I used a lot of psychedelics in the form of acid. No, I won't get into all of that. I don't want to, you know, have a drunk-a-log here with you, but those were my drugs of choice. I used mushrooms, you know, things like that, but when it came to the psychedelics, I really leaned toward acid, and then I used cannabis and cocaine quite a bit, and a lot of drinking. So much drinking. I had given up the recreational and the hard drugs about a year and a half, 14 months or so before I gave up alcohol. I kept drinking for another little over a year, and then boom, hit AA and finally kicked the alcohol. I would not classify myself as a severe case as compared to somebody who is, you know, using heroin. like, multiple times a day, daily heroin user. Somebody who is, using cocaine, like, throughout the day, multiple times a day, can't function throughout a day without using cocaine. I mean, there are far more, I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, please, far more clinically severe cases of addiction than what I came into Alcoholics Anonymous with. I had kicked all of the recreational and hard drugs on my own about a year before, only to be left to deal with alcohol once I got into Alcoholics Anonymous. Does it speak to, a strength that I have that someone else doesn't possess? I don't know. I think we all are capable of incredible feats of strength once we figure ourselves out. Either way, to suggest that these drunk dreams are only specific or seem more prevalent with, more severe cases, I think that's arguable. I think they're common. And let me share mine with you. Mine always goes the same way. It's always the same way. I'm always typically in a social situation with my family, and I'm just out of the blue drinking. And I'm not necessarily trying to hide it from anybody. I know that I shouldn't be. I know that it's wrong. I know that, it's something that I don't like. I know everything I know today. So the 25-year clean and sober person that I am today is completely present in that moment that I'm drinking. But I'm just drinking. And I have this sense that it's all been a lie, and I've been drinking all along. Like, I've never stopped. And it's all just a lie that I've been living, pulling the wool over these people's eyes. And then I wake up flushed with regret, so grateful that it's just a dream. That's it. I mean, I can feel it in my chest right now as I'm describing it to you guys, and girls, and everybody in between. I got to get better at that one. So that's kind of the dream that I have. And it's always the same. Mine never involves smoking up. Mine never involves using cocaine. Mine never involves any of that stuff. Mine is always very specific to the alcohol, whatever it might be. A glass of wine, typically a beer, maybe a mix, stuff like that. But it's always the same. It's always the same idea. The social situation may be a little bit different. The people involved around me might be a little bit different, but the overall theme is always the same. That's my drunk dream. Let me take you back. My dad passed away when I was 17 years old. From the time the man died, sometimes multiple times in a week, I had the exact same dream. The dream was always that I was at my father's funeral. I'm sitting in the front row at the wake, if you will. There's my father's casket right in front of me. And there he is in his casket. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm talking. Now, the people have typically changed. Sometimes it's my mom on the one side of me. Sometimes it's my O.D.A.A.T, my dad's mom. Sometimes it's one of his sisters, my aunts, or one of my own sisters. But I'm typically talking with somebody, and we're surrounded by the rest of the family, and I'm talking to this person, and I get a sense that someone's right here, and when I turn, it's my dad, and my dad's alive and well, and we're talking, and we're having a conversation. I'm like, wow, there you are, Dad. And then I wake up, and I'm shaking, and I'm shivering. Oh, I can feel it right now. It's a physical response that I can't even put into words. Just terror and fear and disbelief. It's physically demanding on my psyche. So there it is. There's the dream about my dad. When I hit 5 years sober, I had a dream about my dad. It was the exact same dream. I'm in the seat, talking to my meme, all the families around us. There's my dad right there. But in this instance, the crowd kind of shifts. And I'm no longer at the funeral wake. I'm now at my AA meeting. And it's an open meeting. And the speaker's just finished. And we're all clapping and we're standing up. And there's my dad. And he comes up to me to congratulate me on 5 years sober. And that was it. It changed. And I can tell you, as I live and breathe, I've never had that dream again. That was it. I woke up, I told my wife about it, and the dad dream just left. I wish I could explain that to you. I wish I could put a finger on it. I've spoken to that effect, and I've spoken about this exact thing with therapists, with family doctors. I firmly believe that there's a healing process that takes place. My wife has done a lot of her own research, studying, reading, library books, the internet, what have you. When it comes to dreams, my wife is the woman that we all go to help us with interpretation. When it comes to dreams, Sarah's a brilliant, brilliant woman. And it's always been her opinion that throughout the day, throughout our lives, this is a place where we can do a lot of healing. This is a place where a lot of those stresses of the day kind of come to bear, flush themselves out. The dream world is kind of that place where when we're resting, when our body is in that relaxed, ultimate state of relaxation, that relaxed state, this is where our mind can do the work it needs to do. And I think that's where drunk dreams kind of come to bear on us. It's our insecurities, it's our fears, it's all of those things that we're experiencing throughout the day. I can tell you that drunk dreams don't happen for me all the time anymore. I can certainly, with my wife's help, put my finger on very stressful times, very stressful moments throughout my day-to-day life. I can put my finger on very difficult events that are happening, in my day-to-day life. And that's typically when they're coming around. In the earliest days of sobriety, it makes perfect sense that we have them and that we struggle because there is so much fear. And I'm going to hit the stop button, and I'm going to leave you with this one. I was terrified that I would drink again. Absolutely terrified. The fear that I have, the physical event that takes place in my body, that I could almost equate to that dream of my father, that's the level of fear that I would have that I would drink again. And my earliest sponsor would remind me, fairly frequently that it's the healthiest fear I can have. Fear keeps us alive. Fear keeps us on the right track. Fear can keep us motivated to do the right things for survival. And that's what this thing can be for us. It's survival. So, take from that what you guys will. That's my little blurb on drunk dreams. I'm no expert. I'm just some random dude in Elmer, Ontario, man. So, whatever that's worth, I hope it's worth something, man, for somebody. Just my thoughts. I want to say thanks, guys. I really appreciate you all, man. And I am cheering you guys on. Man, oh man, this one feels good for me today. I wanted to play with it, and I'm glad I got it out of me. So I'm grateful again, guys. One day at a time. It works if we work it. I love you guys, and I'm cheering you on, man. Go get it. It's hump day. The weekend's on its way. Take care, guys. Bye.